What is happening, everyone? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Just wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit about the difference between the Vantage credit score and the Fico credit score. What do I mean by that? Let's put it in layman's terms. Credit Karma and your lender's ability to pull credit. Those are the names basically of their scoring systems. Fico, which, not going to bore you with details, was created in 1989, and 90% of all lenders out there, whether in the mortgage lenders, car loan companies, banks, whatever, that are lending you money are using the Fico score model. The Vantage credit score, which was implemented here more recent in 2006 to be exact, on the model I think has been updated in around 2017 somewhere. Now, don't quote me on that. Like I said, I don't want to bore you with the facts. Those don't really matter because they're constantly updating the scoring model. But how many of you have ever had where you went and applied for a loan and you've been monitoring your credit, maybe through your Credit Karma, Discover Card, Bank of America app, where it says your score is this as of today? It gives you a history and all that kind of stuff, or Credit Karma or Credit Sesame or one of these other free services where they pull your credit. You go, well, that's weird. My TransUnion score on Credit Karma is a 730, but you just pulled my credit and it's actually a 750 or it's a 710, or it could be more, it could be less, but the scoring models are not identical. And the reason being is because the models are slightly different. They are a little bit different. They pull in pretty much the same data. When it comes to Vantage scores, don't go out as far as what they use. But what they do is basically put all this in a melting pot and create a hypothetical scoring system based on all the data that's there. And it's all very similar when it comes to the data that we're looking for, as I've gone over in previous videos. The number one thing is late payments or on-time payments. They're looking for that. That's going to be heavy in the scoring model for both. They're looking for credit utilization, basically understanding how much debt do you have versus how much can you borrow when it comes to credit cards. Is it high? Is it low? Whatever the case may be. Is it above 30%? Is it below 30%? That's also going to go into the scoring model. The history, how long the account's been open, mixed accounts, inquiries, all of those types of things are still going to heavily apply to both scoring models. One is going to put more weight on other things versus the Vantage score. Fico is going to put weight on certain things that Vantage will not. Vantage will put weight on things that Fico will not. And so collectively, I'll give you a prime example. I had a client that actually had newer credit, had an account open very long. They were just a young person just coming out of school and their parents didn't add them in any accounts. So they came off of fresh, clean, nothing on their credit report, and they just applied for a secured credit card, which popped up, and immediately they had a credit score that was generated through the Vantage scores through their Credit Karma or their credit card. When they went to go apply through a mortgage company and they pulled their credit, the credit bureau said there was nothing there, that there wasn't anything old enough, at least 6 months of age, in order to generate a score. And that's Fico's position on that. If they don't have something on there that's been there for at least 6 months, then typically it will not show a score. The one way around that is, for example, I added, and I've said this before, is that I added my daughter as an authorized user account. So I added her to an account that had been aged for over 6 years and was on time and had low utilization. So when I added her to that, it showed up on Fico as a credit score as well as Vantage score. And the reason being is because it had been open for over 6 years and it reported, allowing her to piggyback on that, which generated a score for both scoring models. But if you're trying to start from scratch and you're starting a brand new account, Vantage is going to show you a score. Fico is not until that account has been aged for at least 6 months. Once that account has been seasoned for 6 months, then you'll see a Fico score be generated through Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. That being said, those are the differences. The model itself, it's still a range from 300 to 850 for both. But again, one's going to put more weight on one and on certain things, and the other one's going to put weight on things that aren't the same as Fico. And 90% again of every lender out there uses the Fico score model. But that doesn't mean that Vantage score, Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, your credit card apps are useless, because again, they give you an idea of where your score is. It's not like somebody pulls a credit score on Vantage or Credit Karma and the score is a 400 and Fico would be 650. There's not that big of a discrepancy. I've seen 30 to 50 point discrepancies, but for the most part, they're pretty darn close or within 30 to 50 points. And if you're doing the necessary things for your credit score and you're pushing where bringing all your utilization down, you're keeping your score or your credits, payments, and all of that on time, and you're being very cognizant and aware of where you're at and you're making the progress every month, then your Vantage score should slowly uptick and your FICO score should uptick like this, and they're going to be moving in the right direction. So the Vantage score is not useless, but I would encourage you, if you want to get more of a sneak peek or a look under the hood, so to speak, you can take advantage of Experian.com, TransUnion.com, Equifax.com. You are entitled to one bureau from each of the 3 credit reporting agencies once a year, a free bureau from them. And that will give you a score as well as all the trade lines and basically an entire breakdown of your report, so that you can see what's on your credit report, what's aged, what addresses you have on there, what employers you have on there. Guys, understand that a lot of the data that's being attached to your credit profile, some of those things can actually be cleaned up and taken care of, especially if you haven't lived in an address for over 10 years. The address of over 10 years ago is irrelevant. That address can actually be removed. Ex-employers, it's not necessary to have an employer on there that's 20 years. I had an employer on there from back when I was 25, 26 years old. There's no point in that. That's none of that information is relevant. Matter of fact, that company's not even in business anymore. So the point is all that data can be updated and whatnot, but Vantage scores and FICO scores are going to be a little bit different. And I get a lot of questions in regards to that. They don't understand why there's the differences and so on and so forth. So again, if you want to do a deeper dive, you can Google the differences between Vantage score and FICO score. That will help you get an understanding. But I wanted to just lay it out in layman's terms for you, so that you wouldn't necessarily have to do the research, and just know that it is a different scoring model, but understand that it's a tool to get you, I guess, in front of your credit so that you're monitoring it on the daily. There's also other services out there that you can take advantage of, Identity IQ, Experian.com, all of these companies that actually charge a fee each month. Like for me personally, I have Identity IQ that I pay for on a monthly basis. The reason I do that is because it notifies me of any type of identity, if my email address, anything that I've used for a long period of time is on the dark web or is being used for whatever reason, I get notified of this stuff so that I can keep on top of identity theft and people trying to use my social security number or any of my personal information to try to do that. So we can stay on top of those things and make sure that is not happening. Because again, guys, as I've always said, your credit report is your report. You do not want to put it in the hands of the big businesses thinking they're going to make sure that things are accurate. There's millions and billions and trillions of pieces of data out there that each individual person has and that they're trying to keep track of. They're not, if a collection got paid off and it's still showing up on your credit report as a balance is on there. Guys, at the end of the day, you're responsible to make sure you get a hold of them and get the necessary data updated so that the reports can be updated, letting them know or proving to them that you paid for it. Again, because it's sometimes they'll do it, sometimes they don't, but you never want to take the position, oh, they'll take care of it, because 9 times out of 10, it will not just naturally be taken care of. It's your credit profile. Anyhow, I hope that's been helpful to you to decipher the difference between a Vantage credit score, your Credit Karma, your Credit Sesame, your free services, your credit card apps where you see your credit score once a month or whatever, and a FICO score, what would actually be pulled if you're applying for a car loan, a mortgage, a credit card, those types of things. That kind of gives you the difference. So anyhow, hope that's been helpful to you. Until next time, bye for now.